Hello, Happy New Year. I know it's Friday afternoon, which is a weird time to be wishing you a Happy New Year. But I also know that many people are easing themselves into things right now, and I have to close lots of things down because my computer is struggling. And I do want to talk to you and remind you of all the things that are occurring and give you an overview of our very first designers drop-in, which we've had this lunchtime, and boy, it was a doozy. So many people turned up. It was just amazing to see everybody. And what the great thing is with our drop-ins is sometimes people come along and they don't have a question to ask. I mean, we had 11 people today and only 4 people actually had a question for the group. The rest just turned up to be supportive and share their expertise, and that's what makes it so amazing. I never take it for granted, and it's just wonderful to see that generosity. And of course, people know that what goes around comes around. So you show up, you choose to spend an hour out of the busy days with their colleagues just to provide support. It just means so much to me, and that's what makes the drop-ins so special, in my opinion. We talked just quite a few topics. Not going to go through them in detail because you kind of had to be there. We talked briefly about a change exercise. One of our members has what sounds like an absolutely fantastic change exercise, which is about all sorts of things. You could debrief it for about 3 hours the way she described it. It was incredible, but she needs something shorter. So we talked about different ways that we could perhaps adapt that exercise and some alternatives. So we've got some things that are already in the members area that can be used, and then some other ideas were thrown in as well, which is fantastic. We talked about interviewing skills and how we can help people be a little bit more focused with their listening and making judgments. So we talked a lot about active listening. So there was a lovely simple exercise that one of our members shared, and she's going to share the detail of that with the rest of the group. So that's going into our resources next week. There's lots and lots of listening exercises already in the members area, but we always like to add more. We talked about the levels of listening. We talked about the sort of star format and the fact that there is a power hour on selection interviewing. So whilst it may not be exactly what our member is looking for, it's always nice to have a look and see if that sparks some ideas. So I'll pop the link to that in the comments after this as well. We talked a little bit about tips and techniques to help people keep conversations focused, short and to the point, to stop them getting distracted when they need to get through quite a lot of calls. So we had some lovely sort of 3-step processes and principles that can be built on there, including the positive, negative and neutral language, which is always a favourite of mine. And then one of our members who doesn't come along regularly to our drop-ins came in with an absolute doozy right at the end. A challenge again. The brief was sort of leadership in general, but also action planning and summary to come in at the end of a programme. But of course, like everything these days, it had to be reduced in time. So it was a bite-sized session again, and it's so frustrating because obviously there's so much that can be done and so much that should be done to ensure that transfer of learning and that longevity and to really encourage that impact. But we talked about it, really what it boiled down to was legacy, and how to help people apply their learning to become a role model in the future, to build connections, to support each other informally, and to make use of the support that's around you really. So we had a fantastic chat about that, and I honestly think we could have spent the whole hour talking about that if that had been the first thing that came up. There are resources in the members area that I'm able to direct her to, so things around personal presence and brand you, and one of our other members came up with some really simple but creative exercises as well that will help them to really think about what they're going to do now. So as usual, it was a very, very useful meeting, and just so delighted that so many people turned up. And the value that you get out of them, just getting unstuck, is just worth so much. And I know I've mentioned this before, but people charge £35 or more to attend one of those, and we've got people that can come along every single week if they want to. So as you can tell, it's the favourite part of my week. But it is Friday afternoon, and I'm sure you don't want to hear me wittering on too much, so I just want to remind you of two other things. One is our Lunch and Learn, which is set for the 28th of January at 1 o'clock. That's all about designing online courses, which is different to designing live courses, and we have an expert coming in whose job is to design online training. So Jeanette Tessier is coming in to give us a whistle-stop tour, and I know, Jeanette, it will be a whistle-stop tour. You are going to go away with so much information, you're not going to know what's hit you. So if you want to get your place, do come along and book your place on that. The link is in the Facebook group, or you can find it on the website. Of course, if you want to become a VIP member, you can just come along for free because it's all included. And the second thing to draw your attention to is I am giving away a freebie, which again I posted in the Facebook group, which is just my gift to you. It's a way to design engaging and effective training that works like a dream every single time. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you do look at it, because it's not going to be a freebie for long. That's all I'm saying. So with that, I'm going to welcome our new members separately. I just wanted to say hello, we're back. I hope you're all easing into it, and we're back full on next week. And if you find these things useful, I will continue to do them. If you don't, I won't. So have a great weekend, and whatever you're doing, I will see you next week. Take care.